Assalamualaikum.
Sorry, it's my first time adding someone to the conversation, so.
That's okay. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. Good. Trying to get this boy to sleep.
Is nap time now?
It's actually a little earlier, but I was trying to delay it so that, you know, he sleeps, but he's getting disturbed every time I say something. So I'm just going to have to rock a bit while I talk.
Yeah. I mean, it's two moms doing lives. So of course, we're going to have some interruptions.
Yep. Inshallah, my daughter doesn't interrupt. I put PJ masks for her. So
I hear it.
How are you doing?
Alhamdulillah, I'm doing good. I'm feeling very relaxed after my yoga.
Ramadan for
Sure.
members.
Assalamualaikum, everyone who joined in. I see I see Nature's Nurture. I see Zuhur Designs. I know these people. Everyone else, I don't recognize the names. It's nice seeing everyone here.
I'm gonna try and pin it. How do you pin the comment? I'm trying to
just hold it, just tap it, and like just hold on to it, and then
yes. Okay.
Yeah, it should open.
There we go. Perfect. Okay, let's start then. Inshallah.
Okay, let's get started.
Yeah, so I mean, we're here today because, you know, we're all moms, and all of us, you know, our Ramadan before being a mom and Ramadan right now is very different. And, you know, some people who are new moms are struggling. Some of us who have multiple, like more than 2 or 3 kids are still struggling. Like it's every Ramadan gets harder with depending on the phase of motherhood that you're at. So managing it all and overcoming any challenges and difficulties can be hard. So I love Coach Nobera's I love her, you know, just the way she her posts that she's been putting up, and I thought that she would be the perfect person to bring on and talk about, you know, these issues that we may be having and how we can overcome them. So with that said, would you like to introduce yourself, Nobera? Like, because I know that we're doing it on my followings, my page, so, you know, maybe you can just say a few words about yourself, and then inshallah I'll start asking you some questions.
Sure. So, Sam Nobera, I'm a counselor and a life coach, and I live in Toronto, Canada. I have, so what I do is I work with Muslim women, and I help with many different things. I help with like managing emotions. I help with self-care, and I also help with goal setting, not just goal setting, but achieving these goals. And sometimes it's really hard for Muslim women, and especially mothers, because we play a lot of roles and then we kind of forget about what we want to do. So I do that through one-on-one sessions, and also I do workshops. Most likely I'm going to be doing a course or group coaching very soon. I was going to start it before Ramadan, but then my whole family got sick and it was just too chaotic. So I'm like, forget this.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember how sick you were. Yeah, wow.
It went for like 2-3 weeks. It was crazy. So anyway, so I just thought, you know what, I created this deadline for myself and I'm going to delay it. So then I just thought, you know what, after Ramadan, I'm going to do that. So that's pretty much what I do. I have 2 daughters. I have one 7-year-old and one 3-year-old who's going to be 4 tomorrow, inshallah.
Oh, mashallah. Happy birthday to her.
Thank you. So yeah, so that's pretty much what I do and who I am. I'm happily married, alhamdulillah. I always mention my kids. And I don't mention my husband.
I know, that's our first thing. We're a mom. I'm a mom.
Right?
Like we're wife. We were the wife first before we became moms.
And it's important, especially in these lives, because you'll have like creepy people coming in and they'll be like, hi, and like asking weird questions. So yes, happily married.
Yes, I'm happily married too, alhamdulillah. Okay, yeah. So let's talk about like Ramadan for you pre-kids and right now. Like, what were your struggles in the past when you were before you had before you had children? What were your struggles in Ramadan?
So before I had children, the struggle was only like, you know, do I have enough time to like, you know, study, and am I sleeping in enough? Like that was pretty much the struggle. So it wasn't really, it wasn't, yeah, it wasn't much. I mean, see, I guess at that time I felt it was a lot, but like now that I
Yes.
compare the two lives, you're like, what was that? That was nothing. Um,
Yes. Yeah.
but yeah, but the struggle started after motherhood, because with both my children, I had them just before Ramadan. So my postpartum was in Ramadan for both my kids.
How did
So it
that
was,
go?
yes, it didn't go, so it
Oh,
was just, it was something else.
yeah.
It was just really something else. I was in a complete, the first one, especially because my daughter, um, she was colic, and she's highly sensitive and like high, just high needs. And so it was the first one, it was just like, I don't even have any memory of it. But yeah, after that, and then, toddlerhood, and then
Yeah.
second child, and then another toddler. It's been a struggle. I mean, like I was saying, like reciting Quran or praying the sunnahs, or even praying the fard on time, not falling asleep while I'm putting her down for a nap. That happens, right? You have
Yeah.
wudu, you're saving your wudu, and then you fall asleep, and then you wake up. It's like end of Asr, like almost Maghrib, and you're like running around. So,
Yes.
so yes, that is a struggle. Eating iftar on time is a struggle, especially,
Yeah. I know.
right? It's
Making sure,
bedtime.
do you get the kids in bed on time, like before iftar, or?
Yeah, so see, so this year, Alhamdulillah, it's been really good for me, and that's why my intention is to help moms with younger children, because my daughter, like I said, she's going to be turning 4. So she's going to be turning 4 tomorrow. Okay, so I'm going to hold my phone because put my charger on. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Um,
All right.
so yes, so so in the past, it was actually like, and that's what I was saying, like, last year even my iftar, I remember like I would try to put them to bed before Maghrib, but it wouldn't be possible. So I would keep her with me until after Maghrib. But then it's like, eating iftar, praying, and then changing her clothes or diaper or whatever, and then putting her to bed, and then it would be super late. And then the next
Yeah.
day she would wake up early, and then she would be cranky, right? Because she didn't get enough
Yes.
sleep.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
I know that.
so this year I'm like super, super ultra strict when it comes to bedtime. I'm like, it's Maghrib is at 8:50 here. So I take, sorry?
50? You said
Yeah,
50?
yeah,
Wow. Okay.
yeah. So I take my kids to bed. So my older daughter, she has school, so she has to go to sleep early anyway.
Yeah.
So I take them to bed around 7 o'clock. It's like super bright, but
Yeah.
they have a blackout. They have blinds and they have blackout shades. So there's like absolutely no negotiation, like absolutely not. And so because it's their regular bedtime, I'm just like sticking to it. So alhamdulillah, even if they're not sleeping and sometimes they are chit-chatting and playing and stuff, they're in their room.
Room. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
We do the same.
Yeah, so Alhamdulillah, that's been helping. I know a lot of moms that they do change the schedule and they take their kids for Tarawih, and mashallah, kudos to them. I am not able to do that yet. Maybe next year. Um, so anyway, so yeah, we were talking about struggles. So that's
Yeah.
one. Another one is just, I used to just feel really guilty, like because like, you're not able to pray properly. You know what? Even last night, like yesterday, I didn't take a nap, and then I fell asleep like just before Isha, and when I woke up and prayed Isha, like my eyes were red, and I was just like, somehow just go make wudu and pray, and I didn't even brush my teeth. I just hit the bed. So those days are tough, right? Those nights
Yeah.
are tough. Not able to recite enough Quran, that's another struggle, and just being patient, especially if you have a toddler and you have to keep them engaged.
Yeah.
That's another difficult one. Losing your cool. I saw your post today morning.
That is that's my biggest
I
struggle.
hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. So yeah, so what about you? What are some of your struggles now? Because you do have little ones like right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that, I mean, I've not been fasting every single day. I've done like 6 days so far.
Okay.
And I wanted to do today, but I've just been feeling like severely exhausted. Like yesterday I slept at like right after iftar. No, before iftar I took a nap, and I thought, okay, I'll be energized for iftar and eat with my husband, and the kids will be asleep. That didn't happen. He was already having his iftar. I was still like drowsy, trying to get off the sofa, and then I basically again took another nap. I was just so like out of it, and then I just went to sleep a little early. Like I really couldn't just stay up. So that's my struggle. The evenings, I'm done by iftar time. I'm done. Like I can't. Because after the kids go to sleep, I have my little one to put to sleep too, you know. So he sleeps after them.
Right.
So that the exhaustion, that's I feel my biggest struggle. And then you know, managing the kids, if I was fasting or not fasting, just managing them, and just trying to be more mindful and you know, more positive and things like that. Like that is just one of the biggest struggles this Ramadan. And last night I thought to I was like, I haven't gone for Taraweeh. I have twice, but I haven't been able to pray more than a few rakahs. Once I actually was falling asleep by the fourth rakah. I was actually wearing my son, I think. I was wearing him, I was falling asleep. He was in my ergo, and I was just falling asleep. I was like, okay, I've done 4 rakahs, I can't do it. And this is on the weekend when my husband's with me, and we go to the masjid together when he's off, you know. Weekdays are not possible, but that's just that feeling. Like I haven't done Taraweeh. Taraweeh is just so special to me. Like before marriage, not even before marriage, before kids. I would go all the time, you know. Even when I was heavily pregnant with my first, I went for almost like every day. I went for Taraweeh. I was probably 7 months pregnant. Like, and that, and then not fasting, I kind of have accepted, you know, I can't fast, and I'm trying. And the fact that I'm trying has really made me feel like, alhamdulillah, I've done, you know, like the few days that I have. But I feel like my biggest struggle is like more ibadah, like time, like just not having read Quran so far, and just not having that mental, like I just feel like even when I am free, I'm so exhausted that I don't have that mental space to sit down and just make dua, you know. Maybe I should have had all my duas written down prior. I know a lot of people did that, and I haven't done that. It's not too late, I know, and that's why we're here. We have 2 weeks, so I want to try and come up with an action plan, inshallah, so that the next 2 weeks I can make the most of it, you know. So yeah, those are my struggles right now.
And you know, one thing I just wanted to say that someone, actually a friend of mine, she sent me this, and I just saved it. Ibn Taymiyyah said, the lesson lies in perfection of the conclusion of a thing, not in the shortcomings of the beginning of it. So this is a really nice reminder that what's important is how we end Ramadan. And there's another one, Hassan al-Basri said, improve your performance in what is left of time, and you will be forgiven for that which has already passed. So take special care of the time you have left, because you do not know when your soul will be turned over to Allah's mercy. So the reminder again is that it's not over, because sometimes, you know, we have that feeling of, what did I do? I didn't do it properly. And you just feel really, really down. Khadija, I see all your emojis. You know, Khadija, your mom sent it to me. You know, tell your mom. Jazakallah khair. She sent it to me, the forwards, and I saved it. So yeah, so it's so that's a really, really good reminder. And this is where, you know, we shouldn't be hopeless. And we shouldn't be depressed because of how things are going, because a lot of people are feeling it right now. Also because, you know, you see what you have done. You have had all these expectations, and then you kind of see that, okay, I haven't been able to do all these things. And secondly, because right now in the middle of Ramadan, like we had our highs, and then it's kind of like coming down, and then, you know, the last 10 nights are coming, and that nervousness kind of comes back. That pressure to perform comes back. So yeah, a lot of people are feeling it right now.
How do you overcome that? Like, I know, like, what is how in your like your experience, how do you overcome that
Um,
when you
so
feel like the guilt and like
yeah,
you're losing, that you're failing or you're not doing enough, like what? And like you said, like that high in the beginning, that's
yeah,
momentum that we have in the beginning, and then it kind of goes down and then go up.
yeah.
Like you keep that.
So a couple of things. One thing for sure is like it's a mental game, right? Feeling guilty or the way you think about yourself and the way you look at yourself. It's more than it's deeper than just Ramadan. Because if there's someone who is like, if I'm like let's say prone to a lot of negative self-talk in general, I would multiply that in Ramadan, right? Because the expectations are higher. If I'm hard on myself, if I'm very critical with myself, or if I push myself a lot in general, so it's not just special to Ramadan, because sometimes we think that this guilt comes just from Ramadan, but if there's certain uh, mindsets, then if you have that mindset, then it would come out in different situations, and
Yeah.
Ramadan is one of them. So how do I deal with that guilt? One is to kind of step back a little bit and see, okay, what's working and what's not working, what worked for me so far, what worked for me last year, because that's how I planned my this Ramadan. I
Okay.
started thinking about, okay, so what worked? Because
Yeah.
I can think about all these things everyone else is doing, and I can start comparing myself to everyone else, and I can listen to lectures and look at all these amazing things that I could do. But if that's not in line with like my strengths,
Yeah.
for example, if reciting Quran is someone's strength, and if they love reciting Quran, they can recite Quran all day long, then that's
Mm-hmm.
their strength, and they can have, the goal to kind of, finish the Quran twice this
Yeah.
Ramadan. But if someone
Mashallah.
else, for someone, yeah, I know, right? But for someone else, that strength could be something else. So yeah, so that's why I started thinking about that. Okay, what are the different things that I want to focus on, and what worked? So then I just, one of the things that I do, like I definitely write things down, or I have tons of planners, not one planner. I love planners.
Yeah.
So one of the planners, I mentioned this before, that has helped me is the Islamic Relief planner, where it has like slots for like, it's like everyday things. Like, I helped someone today, learned something new, smiled at someone. I think I gave charity, asked for forgiveness, and something else. And I really
Yeah.
like that it broke everything down. So one day actually, I remember I didn't do anything. Well, not much, but I checked the help someone because I helped my family, and we didn't even think about that,
Yeah.
right? And this is where, like, Allah rewards us for it, and we don't think about it. So these kinds of checklists, I find that they're helpful, even when
Yeah.
it comes to, how many sunnahs you prayed today. Just writing that number down, or how many pages did you read, even if it's 1 or 2 pages.
Yeah.
Something that I did actually in the beginning of Ramadan was that I just had like a thing for myself, like mentally. I was just telling myself that, okay, tomorrow I'm going to read more Quran than yesterday. And the numbers were really low. I'm not going to share them. The numbers were pretty low. And then I just added like half a page the next day, just point 0.5. And
Yeah.
then the next day I add half more.
Yeah.
So that is good. So what I tell a lot of people is that compare yourself to yourself. Don't compare yourself to other people. Don't compare yourself to other moms who have this, like, amazing decorations, and they're giving amazing iftar to their neighbors, and they're doing these amazing activities with their kids, right? Um, I was gonna mention, um, the the Mac ad. I was gonna say,
Yeah.
and dressing up nicely for suhoor, but I'm so pale.
That's a bad joke. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so there are other people who are doing a lot of things, but compare yourself to yourself, because you are in your life with the kids, with the exhaustion.
Yeah.
Their realities are separate. So that's pretty much, I would say, what you do with your guilt, because guilt doesn't, guilt doesn't empower us. This is something that we need to remember, because sometimes we want to feel guilty. We're like, at least I can't do that. At least I can feel bad about it. But it's, something I learned from Muhammad Sharif is that guilt, like there's no guilt doesn't serve, regret does. So you could be regretful. You're like, okay, I regret doing this. So, and you can turn it into action that, okay, I'm going to do this instead. But if it's guilt, you just have guilt and you're just feeling bad and you're just feeling sorry for yourself, you're not going to be empowered. You're not going to be all of a sudden, you're not going to be like, oh yeah, I have this amazing idea. I'm going to do all these things. You don't get energy from guilt.
Yeah.
So you get energy from
That
compassion.
mindset. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I would say, be compassionate to yourself, be understanding. Like if another mother comes to you exhausted and she's like, you know what, I'm not able to pray Tarawih and I just feel so bad, and you're not going to be like, oh, shame on you. Allah's not going to forgive you. You're wasting Ramadan. We're not going to say that to her. So you can't say that to yourself either.
Yeah.
So you have to be kind to yourself as well. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's a reminder for me as well. I don't think I'm doing as much comparison this year, but I am feeling the guilt. So, and but I think I'm just gonna, last night I told myself I'm just gonna have to like accept that, okay, I'm not able to go for Tarawih now, but at least what I can do is read some Quran and, try to make more dua, that's more important. And then also focus on the little things that I'm doing, like today, I don't even know, may Allah accept from me, but the live that I did last week with Nazima about nutrition and like breastfeeding in Ramadan, it was helpful for a lot of people. So I posted the video on I downloaded it and posted it on, I woke up early this morning and I posted it on, edited it, posted it on YouTube and shared it and everything, because a lot of people can't catch the live. One's in a different time zone. So I was thinking to myself, I was like, you know what, maybe this counts as a good deed, I'm helping someone, so
absolutely
that's accepted. So
absolutely. I'm gonna ask you later how you downloaded it, because I'm having a hard time with it. I have lives that just come and go, and
yeah, I just recently
I'll ask you
how to do it. Actually, Hafsa was the one who from Happily Hafsa, she did it for one of her lives, and then I was like, wait a minute, you can do that? And then she mentioned to me, and then I think I researched it based on the software that I have on my browser, and I managed to do it, alhamdulillah. So it's definitely worth it. Yeah, because sometimes some lives are really, you really want to put it up. So
definitely.
Inshallah, I'm going to try and do the same for this one. But yeah, just trying to focus on the little things, like what, one few things I do in the day, and try to say, okay, you know what, inshallah, may Allah accept for me, like that, that was a good deed, or, that I had good intention towards doing it, so inshallah, that's something that I'm going to work on and use your advice for that. I know that your kids are now, you said 7 and 3, almost 4 tomorrow. But at some point, you had kids, who are much younger, right? Like, 2, 3 and under are really hard to, like, if I had just my son, I would be able to go to the masjid and try to change his schedule or something. But I have younger ones, so it's pretty hard. What advice would you give them, like, for moms with the really young kids who can't really do anything? What's the one piece of advice you can give them?
Do you want a color here? Sorry, what?
That's the son I made.
That's the one you made.
Oh,
Such an urgent question. Is that the son I made? Yes, it is. Okay. So moms of younger children. First of all, I would say before just the motherhood, I want to say that kind of what's important is to kind of like, step back and think about simplifying your life a little bit. So with that, what I did is, and I still do, I don't cook a lot in Ramadan. Like not a lot of like, I don't make like iftar, because I know like there's a lot of like people that make, certain things for iftar like every day and stuff. So I haven't done that. Like ever, because it's not, and my husband and I, like we spoke about this, and it's just that, like, you have to simplify life. So I just cook like, whatever meal, like, actual meals, and we eat that for iftar. So in that sense, like, I have saved up like maybe an hour, like an hour
Yeah.
before iftar, like I have that time.
Mhm.
Another thing is that, working in partnership with your husband. Sometimes like we just kind of give up Ramadan because, the husband is praying Taraweeh and he's praying Qiyam and he comes
Oh my
home and
God.
he sleeps. He sleeps in the morning and you're like, okay, I shouldn't wake him up. That is also, yes, that's a good deed because then you are getting rewarded for
Yeah.
the things that he's doing. But I would say also take part in things yourself. So, Taraweeh, it's a sunnah. So he doesn't have to go every night. So some nights he can go, some nights he can stay, and you can go, or some nights he can stay and just like, sleep on time. So in the morning, maybe you can sleep in, or maybe at one point, when he comes home from work, you can take a nap. You can tell him, set up a time with him that, every, I don't know, Mondays and Wednesdays, I'm going to take a nap from like, I don't know, like 6 to 8 or something.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, work in partnership. Like you're not, Ramadan is for you as well. And even though I understand that, we get rewarded for every single thing that we do, for the sacrifice, for taking care of the children, everything, but I know that like it doesn't increase your iman, right? So that's where a lot of people struggle, because you know that you're getting rewarded for it, but when Ramadan ends, you don't really come out with that high,
Boost.
yeah,
Yeah.
with that boost, right? And so that's why, like I would say, talk to your husband. If you are married, if you're a single mother, then if there's someone else, like a family member that can help you, but find a partner, so you don't really have to do it on your own. So that's kind of like, before getting into the nitty gritty, because if you still can't spare like 15 minutes, if you're still exhausted, do you want a color? Here. If you're still exhausted, and then I can give you a bunch of advice and you're not going to be able to do it because there's absolutely no space for it, right? There's no energy for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also like, cut down on different things. And if you have to increase screen time, That's what I did last year. I increased screen time like no tomorrow, because that gave me time to recite. Last year, what I did, I recited throughout the day. I had goals. That was my main thing. Last year, my main thing was reciting and listening to tafsir. It wasn't anything else. Not Taraweeh, like not like I did a little bit here and there, but what I wanted to do was focus on improving one part of my ibadah. Because if I do everything, it is like, inshallah, may Allah reward me for that and us.
Yeah.
But it's still what I was concerned, what I wanted was that I wanted that long lasting change in me. I wanted it to change me. Like
Yeah.
last year, my goal was to have a relationship with the Quran and to come closer to Allah through the Quran. So that was my goal. This year, it's what's my goal this year? Good
You mentioned
question.
tafsir.
Yeah, so this year, for example, Sarah mentioned this from Nature's Nurture. She's also doing this. So she's doing it more consistently, actually, is that allocating the morning, so post Fajr time for Quran, because you don't have any energy left afterwards. So that's the time for Quran, and I'm actually doing that as well. I recite Quran after Fajr, and then after that, throughout the day, if I have time, then I do it. If not, then that is the time, and also like after Fajr, like that's a very, like there are a lot of ahadith, I don't remember all of them actually, that talk about the virtues of reciting Quran after Fajr. So that's a really, really good time. And also in general, doing anything after Fajr, like, there's barakah in it.
Yeah.
So I would say that, and other things I would say, like have a journal where you can kind of, measure what you're doing. So, if it's, what do you call it? If it's like, tafsir, or like listening to a lecture, or watching something, like let's say you can't read now, so you can watch something, or you can post something online, like, something beneficial. Um, what else? I would say, like when you start measuring things, you see how you're doing. So you don't go just based on your feelings. So for
Yeah.
example, hi. So for example, Someone actually asked me recently that she said that she was feeling guilty about working on her business during Ramadan because she could use that time for something else. She could use that time to spend time
Yeah.
with her family, or doing more ibadah. So when I started, so I kind of started like coaching her. Like, she's a friend of mine, so I kind of started coaching her on okay, I'm distracted. Okay, so on uh, like over messages, and I was asking
Yeah.
her that, okay, uh, like, do you spend like a certain number of hours or like minutes, or like, is it like a lot, just like coexistence? And she was like, no, like she spends like, a certain number of hours, like quality time with them, and then they go to bed, and then she works on her business. So I was like, okay, then your business is not really affecting your time with your kids, right? So that's just an example of like when something is like, when you feel like, when you might be feeling guilty, like I'm not spending enough time with the kids, like with that sister. But in reality, it wasn't even affecting her time with the kids, you know? So her focus was like, it should be that, spending a certain number of minutes or hours every day with the kids. And for her, like that would be good enough.
Okay.
Okay, so measuring it. So then she can go back and look at, okay, how was my last week? Did I spend enough time with the kids? And you're like, okay, so half an hour here, 1 hour here, 2 hours here, and then it adds up. So same with like with Quran, like, you can 1 page here, 5 pages here, 3 pages here. And then when you measure it, then you're more mindful of it. So with everything that you're doing, like, definitely be more mindful of it. If you're listening to some series, you can go, part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and go like that. Um, your camera is flipped. So yeah, so I would say be more mindful and manage your expectations. Think about what worked for you and do that, and focus on the quality of your ibadah. You don't have to focus on the quantity.
Okay.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, because I got a call. My husband called, and it kind of I canceled the call, and it kind of blacked out my part of the screen. That's why I kept flipping the screen front and back. So I'm not sure what happened, but
Okay, I saw
um,
the flipping.
okay, so you can see me now?
I can see you.
Okay, it's black. I don't see myself, but I'm just going to continue.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see.
Yeah, that's really great advice, mashallah. I appreciate that. I mean, and I hope that it's helped other people as well, or on the call, on the live. If you have any other questions for Nobera, please let us know. But I think that those were great tips. There was one thing that you mentioned about the screen time. When we started the first couple of days, I was like, I'm not gonna have screen time for the kids. I had decided that. I was like,
Yeah.
I only have like Quran with like cartoon or something, or like just like Islamic, like nasheeds or something
Yeah.
that is beneficial for them in that way. But they were getting bored and frustrated, and then eventually, like a few days in, I was like, okay, I need to put their regular stuff, because
Yeah.
they were just getting distracted. It wasn't keeping them watching, or
Right.
they would just come back and keep bothering me or asking questions, or
Right.
so I wasn't able to get that time. So that's a good I like that, because I know that would work for me.
Yes.
So I'm definitely going to use that. I'm just going to put a screen time and do that. And the other thing about Fajr, post Fajr, like today actually, I was about to go to sleep, and I really wanted to put that video up. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to stay up. And I stayed up, and subhanAllah, I got quite a few things done. And that, like, I actually did feel guilty. I was like, I wish I could have read some Quran, but this is something that was just, had to be done. And I'm glad that it's done.
Right.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things I wanted to get out of the way so that I could focus more on ibadah. So I was like, okay, at least I've got it out of the way. So the rest of the day, I don't have to say, okay, I need to do work, today.
Yeah.
So,
And the intention matters. Intention matters, because you get rewarded for everything that you intend for. And that's what's amazing. And like, even when we when people when women, you feel bad because, like, when you're on your period and you're like, I'm not able to do enough, or you're postpartum, or even breastfeeding, you get rewarded for what you do outside of that. So you're not losing out. And it's amazing, because like, Allah's our creator. Allah knows how he made us. So why the guilt? You know, Allah gave us this responsibility. Allah gave us children, and Allah put us, you know, Allah made us like, you know, responsible for them. We're in charge of them. So like, you know, of course he knows. Of course he knows our struggles, and you know, there's no need to feel guilt. You know, all we need to do is we need to strive for more. We need
Yeah.
to strive for more patience, and we need to strive for, you know, to not like, not to, raise your voice. And I was actually telling my friend, I was talking to a couple of my friends, and we were talking about, you know, it's hard to like, you know, raise your voice, not to raise your voice with your kids,
Yeah.
especially in Ramadan. And then I was telling them that, you know, like, Alhamdulillah, I haven't done that in a long time, like in general too. And then my friend's like, oh my God, mashallah, so amazing. And I'm like, no, but I have that, you know, that angry, like deep, loud whisper
Inside you.
Yes. No, like so it's like it's not, I'm not yelling, I'm not screaming, but it's just like it's still like that angry look with that like deep angry voice. But it's like, you know, you can think about different things that like different goals, like different personal development goals. It doesn't all have to be like, you know, external things, because so much of it has to do with your character development in Ramadan. Because, you know, there's a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ where he says that if you, like, I don't want to like butcher it, but like, you know, if you, okay, so pretty much like, you know, if you don't have good manners and if you don't speak the truth, then you're not eating and not drinking is not going to do anything for you. You know, like pretty much that. So so character is huge. Your manners, like your behavior, like that's huge. Sarah here mentioned that, remember that the Prophet ﷺ prayed Tarawih at home and not at the masjid. So going back to, I'm just looking at some comments here. It's so hard to not feel bad and useless when other moms go about how much they do. And yeah, absolutely, Alia. It's not, and you know, and it's their journey, and mashallah, kudos to them. You know, they must have, you know, worked on it too, and they're going with their strengths, and there are certain things that you are doing and they're not doing that. So, you know, so look at your strengths. And remember when I was saying about like, you know, if someone is good at praying a lot, or someone is good at reciting a lot, or someone has, you know, amazing manners, just do more of what is in line with you, then you can get more pleasure out of it, and it'll be easier for you to do those good deeds.
You can get it.
Yeah, Sarah said keep track of your ibadah, your Quran, etc., so you can see how well you're doing and where you can improve, inshallah.
Yeah, I feel like that also is more encouragement for yourself. Like you can say, you can feel like, hey, I did, you know, it's tracking what you've achieved, like, and what you've managed to do as well, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sorry,
were there any other questions?
Yeah, I'm just looking here.
My hands are kind of tied.
That's fine. I'll do it. No worries. Happily Hafsa, nice seeing you here. Thank you.
Yeah, I was talking about her and she came on.
Great topic. Yeah, Afra was talking about you. And Miss Amps said, true, we also do straight dinner. Yes. So I have done that. We have done that for a long time. So alhamdulillah, it really, really helps.
That's what we're doing this time too. We don't have all the starters and then dinner and everything. Yeah. We just have straight dinner. And it's actually helped a lot. So I'm not making multiple things. And, you know, if I'm doing multiple things, it's for the meal, but not for, you know, not for starters and frying and all that stuff. It just takes so much time. It's so time consuming.
Yeah, and it makes you lethargic too. Asya, do you want to go to that section, please? Go to your play area, okay? Go ahead. Yeah, so that's I had some other thoughts while
you mentioned that you got some really good really good tips from the last few conversations that you had, the last lives with is there anything that you can share from there?
So one of them, Sada from Salam Sada, one of them that she mentioned was listening to podcasts, and
yes, so I started listening to it.
Yeah, so that's something that helps me in general, because that it brings in a lot of positivity. Because you see, like, you know, when we are quiet, like our minds aren't quiet, right? Like your mind isn't quiet. Your mind always has like messages and your mind always, mind thinks about things that have happened in the past. Like something that someone said, someone hurt your feelings, or someone gave you attitude, or someone said something hurtful, like whatever it is, your mind keeps playing that. So I realized that once when I was washing dishes, and washing dishes, like sometimes like is very therapeutic, right? And I was washing dishes, and I was just I was like, I get so distracted while I'm going for
I'm
salah.
the same.
With everything, I get so distracted. Okay, so when I was washing dishes, I was thinking about what someone said and how hurt I was, and I was just looping it in my head again and again and again. And I'm like, next time I'll do this and that. I should have said this. I should have that. And then I was thinking, you know what? This quiet time, I am messing it up. It belongs to me, but I'm here thinking about other people, other things, and that's not serving me. It's filling like it's bringing in more negativity. So that's when I kind of like took it to another extreme. It's like I don't have a lot of quiet time. So one of my goals actually this Ramadan was also to have more quiet time and have more to slow down more. But anyway, so at that time I had decided, you know what, I'm always going to listen to something. I'm always going to be thinking about positive things. So when it comes to, sometimes you have things to resolve, don't just think about it forever and all the time. I know sometimes, like, we worry a lot. There are some people who are prone to, worrying more than others.
Yeah.
But I would say if there's a lot on your mind, just take out a piece of paper and a pen. Okay, I'll give it to you in a bit, okay? So take out a paper and pen and write all of it down. Like just 2 days ago, I was praying, and I started thinking about all these, like, business ideas that are coming to my mind while I was praying. Yeah, while I was praying. And then after I finished, like I guess I had like more to pray. So as soon as I finished, I just like took out a notebook and I wrote down everything, because I wanted my mind to be clear. Because sometimes we keep it in our minds because we don't want to lose that thought.
Yes.
You don't want to lose those ideas or those feelings, and you keep looping it. So so there I would say that bring in the positivity. So if you're not getting it from your family members, if you're not getting it from your friends, or if it's not coming naturally, listen and keep listening to people that motivate you, that are doing amazing things, and you want to learn from them. Keep listening to them, and then you're going to see that you have you fill up with positivity. So someone here asked podcast to listen to. So Salam Sadaf, she mentioned
Soul Food, it's called?
Soul Food FM by Amjad Tersin. Yeah. I listen to that sometimes. I'm listening to Qalam Institute. I'm listening to Abdul Nasir Janda's Tafsir of Surah Maryam. I just started today. It's really nice.
Oh, really? Where do you listen to it?
On podcast, like iTunes.
Podcast. Oh, okay.
iTunes podcast. Yeah.
Okay.
So I listen to that. And also I watch. There is. I will post it on my Insta story, inshallah. Sheikh Mutasam Al-Hamidi. I'm not sure if you know him. He so he's an imam here in Toronto in one of the masjids. He's from Jordan, I believe. So he has a series of how to increase your khushu in 90 seconds. So he has 30 parts. So it's for the entire Ramadan. And it's really nice. It's like little bits. Yeah. So what are some podcasts that you listen to? I'm just going to
so I started listening to the Soul Foods, and then I haven't actually per se listened to podcasts, but what I'm doing is listening to Sheikh Omar Suleiman's Prayers of the Pious every day. Yes. I love those videos. The thing is, I'm sorry, did I get disconnected? The good thing is, am I here? No,
You're here.
Okay. So the good thing is I can I basically listen the page. If you go to their site, the Yaqeen Institute site, you can basically copy and paste the du'as. So if you want to write it down or something. So I listen to that, and Mufti Menk also has his, every Ramadan he has his daily reflections. That's also a good, they're on YouTube, so it's very easy to access and listen to. So those are some that I'm listening to right now.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, that's more than enough for me right
Yeah,
now. Yeah.
definitely. And I actually have the YouTube link, and I can't post that. Like I can't link it. So anyone, if you're interested, like you can send me, you can just DM me, and I'll send you the link, the Sheikh Motassim one. And he was doing another one. It was actually I'll skip that one, but yeah, that one. Asia, I'm trying, so my Chromecast is not working.
No worries.
So yeah, so those are really good. So I think that's
Yeah.
like you said, like that's good enough. Like you don't really need anything more than that because there's so many episodes.
Yes.
That yeah, that's good enough. If you do that, like even like one a day, that's amazing. You'll be bringing in a lot of positivity.
Yeah. And you do that in your downtime. So like when you're washing dishes or cleaning the kitchen or just cleaning in general, when you're driving, those are good times to just listen to this stuff, because then that's when your mind is, well, we want our minds to be clear and have that clarity. But if it's not, then you can use this to kind of give your, your mind and your heart some calm and some good, and obviously get good knowledge from it,
Definitely.
Yeah.
So here I have a couple of comments I think I saw. Okay, so yes, so Sarah from Nature's Nurture said, when I'm cooking or doing dishes, there's always one headphone in my ear listening to something useful and beneficial. Alia here said, I always search a point in the day when I just can't cope anymore because I'm so weak and just so exhausted from breastfeeding through the night. Oh man, I understand.
So
I
tired.
become really miserable. So how do you overcome this?
I would suggest, for me personally, at that point, I feel like, I know you're exhausted. I don't know what part of the world you are in, but if you can go out at that time, take a walk or go take the kids out and get some fresh air, that could help. The other thing that I would say, the other thing that immediately helps me is taking wudu, or also just listening, like one of the podcasts or a video. I mean, those are three things that instantly can, change your mindset from how you're feeling and help you, because otherwise I don't know what else, can really help at that point, unless you have better suggestions.
No, I don't. Hold on one second. Asia, can you come here? Come here. You can watch it here. She says no.
They know everything. They know better.
Yeah, it's not connecting, Mama. It's not connecting to the TV. You want to watch here? Come, Dora, come.
Does anyone else have any questions before we wrap up?
Okay, so I'm going to move to the other side so you guys don't hear the Dora song. Come, Asia, you can watch here, okay? Come, you can sit on the sofa and watch. Yeah, so it is frustrating. Just do whatever you can. And like I was mentioning in the past, is that even when you're breastfeeding, just make dua to Allah, ask him for help, ask him to reward you for what you're doing, because like I said, Allah knows what you're going through. Allah knows your struggles, and so you don't really have to sit on the prayer mat to make dua. You can do it while you're laying down in bed next to your baby and while you're breastfeeding your baby, So make use of that time. There was something else. Oh yeah, something. So yeah, so Sarah yesterday, she mentioned the Quran in the morning. What else? If you're able to take a nap, and I know again that that's difficult too, but I really encourage, for those of you who are married, you have your husband who comes at home either in the morning or in the evening, make it a partnership. I mentioned in the beginning of set, and the way the way we feel about things and the way we experience things, it's not just about Ramadan, but it's about kind of like how you are wired, or the mindset that you have. Same thing with the partnership with your husband. It is deeper than just Ramadan. It's also about how you have designed your life, in general, you know, like how much of a partner he is in general when it comes to
Yeah.
housework, when it comes to children, when it comes to all the other different parts of your life. So, you know, that is something, you know, to work on, that it's not just your struggle. You'll have to share it with someone. And I always say like partnership, because I don't say, you know, like, you know, helping with the kids, because if you say instead, it's
I keep getting my husband keeps calling, so I what time is it already? 2:15. Oh, you're
2:10.
2:10.
2:10.
Yeah, I think that's why, because my son, we have to go pick up my son, so I think
Okay.
that's probably why he's calling. So if we'll probably just have to wrap up the call.
Yeah, so let's just wrap up, inshallah. Is there
Yeah.
anything else that you want to share?
No, I think that's all. I will the video will be live for 24 hours. Someone was just asking, and I'm gonna do my best to have it downloaded and uploaded to YouTube and share it on Facebook and stuff like that, so people can actually access it after, if they don't get to listen to it in the next 24 hours, inshallah. I hope it was beneficial for everybody. If you still have any questions, please feel free to message us, and we'll do our best to, you know, answer them the best we know how. And yeah, I mean, unless you want to wrap up by saying anything else.
I also wanted to share that I'm talking to some mothers. So last week I asked on my page, you know, who is having an amazing Ramadan. Like, I want to talk to you. I want to get some, you know, advice from you, so we can share and we can help with other people, because then we have different experiences and different perspectives. So, you know, so I spoke to 2 people already. I have one of them. So her live is on. Her name is Sarah. She's from Nature's Nurture.
Yes,
so it's still on. It's going to be on for a couple of hours. Then I'm going to be talking to a couple more women for the next couple of days and until sometime next week. So
okay.
yeah, so you can, you know, just join in, and hopefully you'll get some advice that works for you, inshallah.
Inshallah. Inshallah. So I hope that everyone has a great remainder of Ramadan and may be beneficial for everybody. And inshallah, Allah accepts from us even the little that we can do. It's all accepted, inshallah. Yeah. All right.